Having a fascination with cemeteries that dates back to early childhood and ghost stories associated with them, I have found that graveyard ghosts are sort of unusual creatures. In most cases, when we're talking about, say, a haunted house, most ghost enthusiasts and ghost hunters would agree that a place becomes haunted because of some kind of, in general at least, some kind of terrible or traumatic event that's taken place in those locations, a murder or a suicide or some horrific event that led to bloodshed. And these places often become haunted, but cemeteries are different. The ghosts that are usually connected to the cemetery seem to be the opposite of the general rule when it comes to ghosts, because these ghosts usually don't seem to be connected to anything like unfinished business or death or tragedy. They're usually connected to events that took place after death. See, cemeteries gain a reputation for being haunted because of desecration, grave robbery, premature burial, unmarked grave, natural disasters that disturb resting places, some different things like that. Now, there are scores of cemetery ghost stories. Now, how many of these stories are true? How many are real events that actually took place? Or how many are just a part of graveyard lore? What I want to do is take a look at some of the graveyard tales, why cemeteries are haunted, the ghost lore connected to cemeteries, and then how we can go about finding some of the answers as to whether or not cemeteries, some of these cemeteries, are genuinely haunted or if they are just a part of ghost lore. Now, there are a lot of different reasons, as I just mentioned, why cemeteries become haunted, and I can't hit every one, but I wanted to touch on a couple of them. And I think that one of the top reasons cemeteries become haunted is desecration. Desecrations of cemeteries, knocking over tombstones, digging up graves, that sort of thing does seem to lead to hauntings. Now, probably one of the most famous desecrated cemeteries, definitely in Illinois and probably in the United States, is a place called Bachelors Grove Cemetery near Chicago. Now, Bachelors Grove was started in 1844 as a cemetery, but it didn't gain its ghostly reputation until far into this cemetery when it became a popular, because of its location, a very secluded, isolated spot down a wooded road. It became popular as a parking place for teenagers, as many of these places do, and I'm sure in your own areas you've run across a lot of ghost stories associated with places popular with teenagers. And thus, Bachelors Grove became such a popular spot. Unfortunately, the reputation that it gained as a ghostly spot also brought along the Vandals. And if you visit Bachelors Grove today, even though a lot of work has been done by people like Pete, one of our AGS members, to try to restore and bring back the cemetery to some semblance of a peaceful place, it has been largely destroyed. Many of the stones are missing. They've been knocked over. I've been there at different times over the years and seen different varieties of things that have been done there, from people digging up graves to knocking over stones, stealing them, you name it. And I think that probably about the time that the cemetery began to be desecrated was about the time that the ghost stories really began to hit their heyday.